What's up? What's up? What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, Uncle Fred, back in the house. One more again, giving you the what you want, giving you the best, latest, and best content. Uh, Hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and we just gonna kind of get this thing started. We ain't gonna be with you long, but we know it's preview game. All right, Cowboys, Cowboy fans, where y'all at? Okay, got a big game tomorrow. Okay, Dallas Cowboys traveling up to Foxborough to take on the New England Patriots. Okay, with that hooded a sphinxter on the sidelines calling the shots. We're going up there, and we're going up there meaning business. Okay, Cowboys going to Foxborough take on the New England Patriots tomorrow, 3:25 p.m. And so we're gonna try to get this thing going. We're just gonna kind of give you some perspectives. We're just try to give you some analysis, some stats, some things to think about, and then at the end give you the prediction of what we think is going to happen on tomorrow afternoon, 3:25 Central Standard Time. Let's get it. All right. Cowboys and Patriots. All right. We got two different teams, clash of styles. Okay. We got the Dallas Cowboys, who dominated in the 90s, won 3 Super Bowls in the 90s and 2 in the 70s, and were so in the 80s, and not so great in the 2000s, and so in the 2010s. But we've taken on the New England Patriots, who were so in the 80s, and pretty good in the 90s. They went to a Super Bowl or two, and but in the 2000s, they have been the team. Okay, since 2001 to 2021, they have been to 9 Super Bowls, winning 6 of them. All right, so and so we got a clash of 2 different eras being dominant. All right, but there's also a clash of the way they play football. Cowboys have a very it had very great offense, very, spread the ball around, run the football, pretty, they can do it pretty much any way you want to do it. Okay, run it pretty effectively at the tune of 173 yards a game, and then they throw it pretty effectively at the tune of 278 yards a game. So we're averaging 450 yards a game, and they got a very varied offense. That's the word I was looking for. And they they can hit you in a couple of different ways. The Patriots kind of they short passes and play good defense though. And the tail of the tape tells you everything. Cowboys are averaging 34 points a game, which is number 2 in the league. Giving up 23.4, that's like 15th or something like that. 15, 16, that's not so good, but since you're scoring 34, it's okay to give up 23 because that's a 10, 11 point margin. New England Patriots are averaging 19.2 points a game, which is scoring, which is about 25th or something like that. And then but they're only giving up 18. So most of their games are like 20 to 18, 20, 17, 21, 17, 21, 20, things like that. So they play it tight and close to the vest. So we play the game 2 different ways. But then when you look beneath the surface, you look at the details, the teams are ran 2 different ways. Okay. It's a clash of styles of how the organizations are run. Now the New England Patriots are run really. I mean, I'm a Cowboy fan, but I don't love everything about the Cowboys. So if you want me to shake pom-poms about everything that is Cowboys, that I'm not your guy. Okay, I'm gonna tell you the real. Now I pull for the Cowboys. Been pulling for them since 1977. Okay, so we're talking about what, like 44 years, something like that. So yeah, love the Cowboys. Don't love everything about them. Okay, have not been in favor of how the Cowboys have been run since like 1993. So we're talking about what, 28 years, something like that. Um, so anyhow, New England Patriots are ran. You got an owner, Robert Kraft, and you got a head coach, and Bill Belichick, the GM, and Bill Belichick. And now, if you watch the documentary on 30 for 30 of ESPN on the two Bills, it's talking about Bill Belichick and Bill Parcells. Robert Kraft plays prominently in that. But if you watch that, you see that Robert Kraft knows quite a bit about football, more than you would think. He's just not one of them guys that sits up in his box and just claps. He knows his football, but he knows enough to stay out of the way when the cooks are in the kitchen. Okay, if you understand where I'm going with that. He understands, I know football, but not well enough to, interfere or, with the guys that are doing their job. I hired them to do a job. Meanwhile, our ownership wants to control what plays we call, and this is purely speculative for my part, based on what I've seen and what I've watched, how I watch, what I've seen and stuff like that. They want to control what plays are run, how they're run, what kind of, whether we throw it or whether we pass it, all these sorts of things. The coach can't do nothing without checking with him before every move and things of that nature. And I just don't think that dynamic really will work in the NFL. It just doesn't. It just don't work in any kind of business. Okay. I believe any business you got a guy that owns it. You hire a guy to manage the product, and you kind of let him have his thing. You let him have his way. Let him do his thing. Now, if over time he's proven where he's not able to do his job, then we got to have a come to Jesus meeting. I mean, it's as simple as that. But at no point do you need to sit in and look over his shoulder and tell him what moves to make. Okay. And I think that's some of the things that's going on with the Cowboys. And I think that may be one of the reasons why we've had enough talent to have won some over the last 20 years, but we've not able to put things consecutively together like I'd like. And I think Jerry Jones and his overstepping, and insisting on doing things a certain way kind of plays a part in that. And since he's decided to do that, we really have not won, even though we've had talent to win. Look, Will McClay, they do a great job of looking, finding, and acquiring talent, putting that talent on the field. But then the second part is developing, coaching that talent in a cohesive manner in a winning environment. And I don't think we've done a good job of that in the last 20, 25, 26, 27 years. And the numbers have bared that out. What in those years, we won like 4 playoff games in 20 years? There's a reason for that, okay? And let me explain to you what I mean when I say these things. We're gonna get on to the tail of the tape and get on to the predictions and things of that nature. But let's just say this, for instance, and I'm ranting a little bit, but we're not gonna be long. Let's just say most of us have been to college, okay? Some of you or high school, all right? I'm assuming here. But went back and got my diploma. I got a college degree and stuff. And so when you get in your classes, when you sign up for your classes, the first day of class or whatever stuff, sometimes you and your homeboys are sitting around or whatever, you standing around on campus. You say, and I was in business class myself. I went to the College of Business. So, you might have classes like economics, statistics, intermediate accounting, things of that nature. So you'd be sitting around with your boys and stuff and say, okay, what you got this one? Well, I got intermediate accounting, or I got economics. Okay. I'll use that as an example. So, okay, who you got? Well, I got Murray. I had Murray last term when I had that. Oh, okay. What's Murray like? So, man, you better, if you in Murray's class, you better be in the class before he shuts that door, or you ain't coming to class. And you better, do your homework, turn it in on time. He's not taking no excuses. Can't say the dog ate my homework. None of that stuff is going to fly. When he calls upon you in class and you don't know the answer, you stumbling around, he's going to mark that off. And there's once a week, there's always a written assignment about something they've talked about, and you got to be on your P's and Q's. Okay. All right. That's what that teacher does. All right. And so, okay. And ask the other guy, well, who you got? Well, I got Langford. What's Langford like? Oh, I had Langford last year. Well, Langford, man, if you just come to class and kind of meet him halfway, he's not gonna, jump on you for being late for class, but he will make maybe a snide remark, something like maybe, you can't get here on time, just get here when you can, sir, right? Something like that. And if you just kind of turn in your homework assignments and just kind of, meet him halfway, look like you kind of know what you're talking about when you answer the questions in class, you'll pass this class. I mean, you probably will ace this class. Now, both of these teachers are in the same, school in the same university, managed by the same dean. Okay, but they got a different ways of doing it. And what has happened is, in each one of those classes, the students that elect to stay in those classes, they adjust to what the temperature that teacher has set for that class. And that's important, okay? Because what ends up happening is, the administration, the dean or whatever, they all they care about is the students get taught. They're not going to tell you what to teach. They're not going to tell you what written assignments to hand out, what reading assignments to give them and whatnot. And they're not grading the papers for you. They let the teachers do, the instructors, the professors do their jobs. And that's the way it's supposed to be. That those instructors set the temperature or the thermostat for those classes. The dean's not coming around behind them and changing the temperature. See, and that's the problem with the Cowboys. This coach and Jerry don't really hire guys that are thermostat setters. He just hires guys that hold clipboards and just walk around and just say, okay, Jerry, whatever you say, whatever you want. Okay. And really, there's no thermostat set, or the coach may try to set the thermostat and Jerry will come along behind and change it, and the temperature in the room is changed. And I just don't think you get the best out of your players when they're hearing more than one voice. Okay. When you see these other teams, they're not hearing more than one voice. When people talk about the Steelers, they talk about Mike Tomlin, anything spoken about the Steelers, who's playing, who's hurt, what's the status of it. You go to Mike Tomlin, and he tells you everything. He tells you who's playing, who's not. He tells you who's hurt and who's not. He tells you everything, and the players know it don't go beyond Mike Tomlin. Same thing with Bill Belichick. It don't go beyond him. They don't go. If you don't get the answer that you want from him, you can go down the hall or go up to the 5th floor in the luxury suite and talk to somebody else. Those things, many people don't think that those things matter, but they matter, okay? They matter because a lot of times a team cannot function in dysfunctionality. You don't get the best out of them, okay? In dysfunctionality, okay? So that's my thing with that. And I think the Patriots have always been a product of functionality. You got one voice, you don't have, you don't hear Robert Kraft, going on whatever station that is in Boston every week, talking about the Patriots, giving his prognosis, talking about the injury report, talking about who's playing, talking about, who we think might be going to start getting some playing time. Dude, that's not your place. That you actually cutting the legs from under your coaches. Okay. So that's the difference. So when we go up to Foxborough, it's going to be two teams, but it's also going to be two different ways that organizations are run. And if you look, there's an ESPN. If you look up the ESPN preview for the game, there's a shot of Robert Kraft and Jerry Jones shaking hands. I'm sure they're good friends. I guess he was like, "Yeah, I got 6 rings, you got 3, but I put myself in position to have 6." And you basically knocked yourself out of 3 out of 6, And remember this, and Robert Kraft could insist on being a part of these things because, trust me, he knows more about football than you think. But he also knows that the organization would be better served to let Bill do what he does. Now, when Bill comes to a point where he's not doing the job, let them miss the playoff 2, 3, 4 years in a row, then we got to go sit down with Bill. But until then, I'm going to let Bill do what he do. And if it goes down, Bill needs to be going down doing his way. And that's the way it needs to be. Okay. And I believe that's why Jason Garrett was allowed to stay as long as he stayed, because I can't fire Jason because he's only doing what I tell him. So that's just my little spiel on that. But anyway, what does the tail of the tape say? So here's the thing. When we go up to Foxborough tomorrow, it's going to really tell us where we're at from a coaching and preparation standpoint, going against the the gurus of preparation and game planning, and taking away what you do best and game planning against and making you have to strategize. You don't just go out there and play. And so what we're going to have to do now, we understand that if we look at the tail of the tape, it's going to come down to coaching. Now, on paper, it's a slam dunk. I'm going to tell you just like this. It's a slam dunk. On paper, on talent, it's not even close. Okay? Let me tell you what I mean by that. On the starting units, of both teams, you got 22 players. You got 11 on offense, 11 on defense. Okay? If you go down you go by the tail of the tape. You look at offense, you look at the quarterback. You're going to take Mac or you're going to take Dak. Now, I like Mac. Don't get me wrong. I like Mac. I know, Roll Tide. I know, but he is a rookie. He started 5 games. Okay. I don't care how smart he is. I don't care how much film he's watched. I don't care, whatever. He started 5 games. Okay. I'm not taking him over Dak. No way, no shape, no fashion. Okay. So I'll go with Dak. Offensive line. Come on, man. Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, Terrence Steele, if you need him on that right tackle, and so yeah, I'm taking them over anybody that the Patriots got. So the check mark goes, offensive line goes to the Cowboys. Okay, tight end, I'm taking Dalton Schultz and Blake Jarwin over Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith every day of the week. Okay. Now these guys come in high priced. They pay some high dollar for Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry, but production wise, I'm going with Dalton Schultz has 26 catches and 3 touchdowns. Okay. I think they got like 1 touchdown between the two touchdowns between the two of those guys. Blake Jarwin has a touchdown too. So our tight end group has 4 touchdowns, almost as many touchdown catches as Mac Jones has touchdowns. Mac Jones has 5 touchdown passes in 5 games, 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Okay, if you need it. Okay. Receivers, really, Amari, 25 catches, 318 yards, 4 touchdowns. CeeDee Lamb, 24 catches, 380 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And of course, even our third receiver, Cedric Wilson, got like 12 catches for like 120 and 2 touchdowns. 10 catches for 120 and 2 touchdowns. Okay. Over Jacoby Myers, he got 31 catches now for 308 yards. And then the other guys, I think you got like 20 catches for Kendrick Bourne and like 17 for Aguilar, and really this is not really that. So I'm going with the Cowboys receiving staff. Now defensively, now I might start to implement some Patriots. Now, I like Micah Parsons and I like Keanu O'Neal. I like them, but as far as linebackers are concerned, I know they kind of play in different positions, but I'm taking Matthew Judon and Hightower first. I'll take those 2. All right. Before I take our guys, because Matthew Judon is one of the best pass rushing linebackers in the league right now. Okay. And Dante Hightower, calling the signals for them. I'm going to take him over, Richard Gregory. I'm going to take him over, and I'm going to take Judon over Gregory, and I'm going to take Hightower over Michael Parsons. Not from a talent perspective, because Michael Parsons is immensely talented, 235 pounds, runs a 4.3 40. When that guy gets all his tools in his toolbox, yeah, you're not going to want to do nothing with him. But right now, in terms of where they're running, I'm taking Judon and Hightower. But other than that, I'm taking Diggs over J.C. Jackson. Yeah. I'm taking but I will take Jones, J.C. Jones, um, over Joseph Jones. I will take him um, over Brown. I would that would be another one, but I'm not taking But and then safeties, I like McCourty, but I like our guys. This is with them, so really I think that's like a push. So of the 22 positions, I would only take 3 of those positions players over ours. Okay, so basically you're talking about what 18, 19, 19 of our players. I would take only 3 of theirs. So we've got the better team. Okay. So it's going to come down to how well our team is prepared to play. That's what it's going. All aside, it's not. It's going to come to how well we are prepared to play. Okay, that's what it's going to come down to. Not going to come down to because on the tape it's a mismatch. Okay, but on the sideline, that's going to tell us where we're at. Okay, all right, that's going to tell us where we're at. Now, we talk about Mike McCarthy, and you got Mike McCarthy. Then what the game is going to really come down to? You got Mike McCarthy, and you got Kellen Moore, and you got Dan Quinn. Okay, that's the the triumvirate against Bill Belichick, Steve Belichick, and Josh McDaniel. Okay, so that's what it's going to come down to. So basically, the game is going to come down to whether or not on offense, Dak Prescott and Kellen Moore, because that was really the offensive brain trust against Bill Belichick and Steve Belichick. Okay, now it's been talked about. I mean, it's been whispered. Folks have been talking about it. Kellen Moore might be on his way to being a head coach. Okay, they've heard it, and there's going to be some teams that's looking for head coaches. The Raiders won't be needing a head coach. Versace is just there for in an interim. They're going to be needing a head coach. Okay, who knows? The Jacksonville Jaguars might be needing a head coach. Okay, we don't know. Who knows? The Chicago Bears might be needing a head coach next year. I'm not calling for nobody's job. I'm just saying I'm looking at the lay of the land. I'm looking at things, okay? And I'm looking at how teams, what people were predicting of teams at the start of the season, and I'm looking at how they're turning out and things of that nature. The Minnesota Vikings might be looking for a head coach. Why do I say that? Because I've been shaking pom-pom for the Vikings all season. That team is loaded, top to bottom. Offensive line, quarterback, wide receivers, running backs, defensive line, linebackers, secondary. They got premium talent at all 3 levels. Yet they sit at 2 and 3. Right. So the team that talent goes to the season, they end up 7 and 10, 8 and 9, or something like that. They might be looking to make a change. So what I'm saying is there are going to be opportunities possibly for Kellen Moore to get a head coaching job. Okay. Looking at it. So when they go to Foxborough on tomorrow, he's going to be matching wits against the Zen Master. Now, I know they call Phil Jackson in basketball the Zen Master, but in football, I call Belichick the Zen Master because, he can put some things together, some looks together that you ain't just prepared for. 2 weeks ago when they played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers is far and away, way, way more talented than New England Patriots are. And he had Tom Brady seeing stuff he ain't seen or thought he saw. They'll put a formation together with linebackers in the middle of the field, linebackers on the edge, and you thinking the ones on the edge are coming, they dropping back in the flats and the zones, and the 2 that's in the middle are blitzing, or they may send the ones on the edge on the blitz, and the 3 in the middle or the 2 in the middle don't drop back in coverage, or they may fake the blitz and then drop back in coverage, and then the ones on the edges come. They do all kind of crazy things, And that's just the mind of a defensive guy that just, he wants to create confusion, make you unsure of yourself. Am I seeing what I really thought I'm seeing? It's supposed to be too deep, but wait a minute, there's only one guy back there. But then before the snap of the ball, the guy is back there, and you think this what's open ain't really open, and you throw the ball's already left your hand, and that guy's laying back there in the weeds, just picked off. Those are the kind of things that, if you're all about your preparation, you're prepared for those things. Okay. And those are the things we're going to have to look and deal with when we go to Foxborough. Okay. Now, I even heard some guys on some of the shows I listened to that played football in the NFL said, man, I've never seen some of the defensive looks that Tom Brady was looking at that Sunday. And he was looking pretty mortal. I think Tom Brady was like 22 or 43, something like that. Barely 50% completion percentage. That's Tom Brady. Okay? That's Tom Brady. Tom freaking Brady. All right? And of course, I know the conditions of that game wasn't really set for that kind of thing, and that it was wet and drizzly and all that kind of stuff. Now, tomorrow the game's supposed to be 65 degrees and sunny, so ain't gonna be no excuses. So when we go up there, so Kellen Moore, he's got to be, and I'm hoping he's sitting up right now, looking at game film, looking at okay, that's no, we can't run that because. Look, if he's looking at trying to be a head coach, what better feather to put in your cap? Look, man, I went up to Foxborough and I outfoxed the Fox. I went up there with my quarterback and my offensive line, and they came at me with Y, and I did Z. They came at me with X, and I did Y, and we was able to win that game. Those will go a long way in his pursuit. And I hope he don't ever leave the Cowboys. Because I think him and Dak Prescott are simpatico. Okay. I think they can finish each other's sentences. That's how close Dak is into what Kellen is calling. And I think it might be sort of detrimental to Dak if Kellen were to leave. Not that Dak don't know what he's doing, but they have developed such a bond together. Okay. So, if Kellen has designs on becoming a head coach, it would do him well to go and in order to be the best, you got to beat the best. That's what they always say. That's cliche, but in order to be the best, beat the best, be the best, you got to beat the best. All right. So that's the thing. So he can go up there and we're going to see what he can do against that. And so it's going to be them. And then on defense, it's going to be Dan Quinn and Micah against Josh McDaniels and Mac Jones. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you just like this. Josh McDaniel and Bill Belichick, and look, he's probably, he's going over some things too, because it works if you got a defensive head coach, because he'll tell you if you got some offensive strategies, he'll tell you something. If I was playing that offense, this is what I would do. And so that's good back and forth, so you can kind of know where that's going. It's like if you got a good wide receiver on your team and you got a good cornerback, they have good back and forths, because if you in to say it's like back in the 90s Cowboys, if you Michael Irvin, look, I'm having to beat Deion Sanders in practice. So I'm not caring what cornerback is lining up against me because I'm beating him in practice. So if Josh McDaniels is bouncing things off of Belichick, who's a defensive, he said, no, that won't work. They're going to beat you with that. You need to come with this right here. This is what I would do if I was. And so that's some good back and forth. But guarantee you, they've chronicled every play, every busted assignment that we've had, every pass play that we waved on and went for 30 yards. Every time Tyler Biadasz, and that's just something I'm going to talk to y'all about. Now, I'm going to need Tyler Biadasz to get his together, okay? Because right now, he's kind of the weak link on our offensive line now. Yeah, Terrence Steele doing himself on the right end. My man Connor's doing himself at doing his thing at left guard and that sort of thing. And Tyron Smith is doing his thing on left tackle. Tyler Biadasz, man, when the guys get pressure, they usually they bulldozing him and getting right to the quarterback. When they come that way, they've always overpowered him. That's always been the weak link. And there's been some talk that maybe Conor McGregor or some of these other guys going to take some snaps at center at some point. So But I do know, and then on top of that, if you watch the games, the snaps that Tyler Biadasz give, man, that thing liable to be anywhere. It could be here, it could be here, it could be down, it could be low. I done seen Dak jump up and get snaps, go to the left and get snaps. I'm telling you, if he's having to look at multiple looks before the snap of the football, and he's gonna have to concentrate 3-4 times more than he needs to find what a snap is, it's gonna be disastrous for us. Okay? It's going to be disastrous. So I'm going to need Tyler Biadasz to get his head out of his whatever and play better. Get your head together. Play better. Put the snaps where they're supposed to be, because that's one less thing that Dak needs to be looking at. He don't need to have, man, I'm just hoping the snaps where it needs to be because trust me, right before the snap of the football, the scene has changed because I know Belichick. He's moving pieces around while you going through your cadence. And when the snap of the football comes, it might look totally different than it looked 10 seconds ago. Okay? So the last thing he needs is to be not wanting to have to take his eyes off of that to locate where the snap's coming from. Okay? So that's it. And trust me, I guarantee you, Belichick knows that. They're gonna come up with some dogs at him. Dogs are like blitz schemes or whatever. At him to cause him to make him snap something errantly, make him do something, to bulldoze him, to knock him. That's where they're going to attack us from our offensive line. Okay. All right. So I think it's going to be important for us to do that in order for us to win. Now, second thing we're going to have to do is not be too prideful. Now, I know we're coming into this game. We're second in the NFL in rushing behind Cleveland. We're averaging 173 yards a game. But don't you do know that the Patriots know that too? You know that Matthew Judon, Kyle Duggar, and Christian Barrymore roll tide on that defensive line, and then Judon coming on the edges and Hightower and calling the signals to me. You don't think they know that? You don't think that they're gonna commit like massive amounts of people to the run to make us one-dimensional, make us go the second and long and third and long? They know that. Okay. They know that that's what we want to do. We want to run the football, okay? But what I have liked about the Cowboys so far this year is they have adapted their game plan to what the team has shown them. And I like that about that. So I think that's what's going to be key for us because we've thrown it 58 times in the game when the numbers did not allow us to run the football when we was playing the Buccaneers. And then we've run it 30 plus times most of the games since then when they've given us light boxes and they're like, oh, we're going to take away the wide receivers so they're not catching 7 and 8 passes. We're going to put that. So, we're going to run the ball. You're going to just run 2 deep safeties on us. I mean, both safeties are 20 yards or more off the line of scrimmage, and basically you're playing with a 7-man front. Okay? And, but I guarantee you, Patriots not doing that. I promise you they're not going to do that. So what we're going to have to do is more play action on first down and hitting things and hitting some of these tight ends and stuff and on play action on first down. Throw it on first down more and get, positive yardage and then turn it to second and 3 and third and 3 and things of that nature. Because the thing that the Patriots tend to do is that they take away what you do best. When they talked to Dak Prescott in the press conference, and I've never seen Dak look so focused as he looked when he was talking. I said, oh, that boy coming up there to play, and I hope he is. He looked serious, like, this is real. I'm going against the master. This is going to tell me where I have come in terms of as a quarterback. It looks like that's what he was saying, and his eyes were saying that. And they asked him, oh yeah, I know their main thing is to take away our fastball. Play left-handed. That's what they're going to do. They're going to do that. So we got to learn to play with the other hand and that sort of thing. We got to learn. So if he understands that, that means you got to take what they're giving you. If they're giving you these one-on-one coverages on the outside, man, Amari can beat anybody one-on-one. There's no receiver. There's no cornerback that they got in one-on-one. I like better than Amari Cooper one-on-one. And CeeDee Lamb is so physical. I don't like none of the corners they got guarding him one-on-one. And our tight ends on linebackers, I don't like none of them against them. And then their third corner against Cedric Wilson, what I've seen from him, I don't like their chances. Okay. So they're going to make us play the way, So we're going to have to play it to what they're handing us. Now, they can't be Super Bowl 36, the Patriots versus the Rams. And sometimes what Bill Belichick does, he makes you, because he knows your mindset. He knew Mike Martz was so arrogant and so stubborn, he was going to try to force his way to do what he does, even though, he's got three great receivers. He got Isaac Bruce, Isaac Hakeem, I'll say it right in a minute, and Torrey Holt, okay? But he also has number 28 behind him, probably the most dynamic running back in the last 20 years of Marshall Faulk. Marshall Faulk could run it as good as anybody could run it, could receive it out of the backfield. He was a threat to catch for 1,000 yards and rush for 1,000 yards every season. They could block and knew the offense upside down and down. But Belichick knew that Mike Martz would try to force feed throwing the ball down the field. So what the Patriots did is they sent 5 and 6 in the passing lanes and rushed with 4 and maybe occasionally 5. And all they had to do was give that ball to Marshall Faulk. He would get 6, 7, 8 yards every time. 2nd and 3, get 5, 6, 7 yards. First down, 5, 6, 7 yards. 2nd and 3, 5, 6, 7 yards. First down. And then when they come up, you can hit them. But he was so arrogant, he was going to force feed what they do, because that's what we do. And they lost. That team's not nowhere near good as that. Greatest Show on Turf team was one of the greatest offensive teams ever. But the coach was so stubborn that he didn't adjust to what the Patriots were giving them. And so what I'm telling you is that we're going to have to adjust. And sometimes we're going to have to adjust during the game. They're showing you some looks early, and then as the game progresses, they're going to change some of them. So if they're giving us a heavy box, we're going to have to go play action. Offensive line going to have to hold up. We're going to have to hit them throws underneath and keep the chains moving. But when in those times when they putting guys back in coverage, we need to hand that ball to Zeke and Tony and get them 5, 6, 7 yards. Keep them chains moving, okay? That's our key to winning, okay? So if we can do that, we can eliminate the turnovers. Dak's had 3 interceptions in 5 games, 13 touchdowns. We really ain't turned the ball over that much all season, but we done got 11 turnovers ourselves, okay? We maybe forced Mac into a couple of turnovers. He is a rookie, I kind of like our chances. I like our chances. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. This is what it all comes down to. Our offense is scoring 34 points a game. Their defense is giving up 19. Their offense is scoring 19. Our defense is giving up 23. Their defense is giving up 18. I'm factoring in that their defense is probably better than any defensive we played in terms of scheme and in terms of intensity and game planning. They're going to be better than any team we played, okay? So probably not going to score 34 points. So I'm going to take 6 points off of that, okay? And they average scoring 19 points a game. I have told you one of our liabilities is we give up big plays here and there. Now, I don't think they have the offensive firepower to fully take advantage. They don't have the explosion at the skill position players, people, and not even in the backfield. Even though I like Damian Harris because, he's roll tide and all that, but he only got 280 yards rushing. Our second running back has more yards than him. Tony Pollard has 325. Okay. So, he's not, and he kind of fumbled a few times too. So he might have gotten in Belichick's doghouse, so I look for them to maybe score 4 or 5 more than what they normally score. Maybe about 3 or 4 points more than they normally score. So with everything that's been said about the level of commitment to details, coaching, game planning that we need to face the Zen master, all of that, the difference in how the two organizations are put together. Okay, all of that's thrown into the vat and getting stirred up. Because now, remember, I was telling you now, it's hard for a team to overcome organizational dysfunctionality. It's just hard. But if the team is good enough and you got strong leaders within the team, and I think Dak Prescott is one of those kind of guys. I think he galvanizes our players. What Mike McCarthy and others are not allowed to do, or they gotta, whatever they, are not allowed to do. I think those guys look to Dak for leadership. And I think when they see him out there gutting it out, when they see him out there face to blitz and stares in the face and delivers that pass, and we get a touchdown and he pumps his fist, that gets them fired up. So what they lack and what Jerry tends to undermine, I think guys like Dak, help with that. So when you stir all of those things up, the wizardry and the ambition of Kellen Moore and such the same as Dan Quinn, because he's trying to get his moxie back too. This dude's been a head coach, a Super Bowl head coach. Okay, Cowboy head coach Mike McCarthy and defensive coordinator Mike Quinn both have been in Super Bowls. Okay, so that's you don't see that too often. So they're both trying to get their moxie back. So all of that being said, I bet y'all wondering what my prediction is. Well, Cowboys 28, New England 21. I said that. Yes, I said that. Dallas 28, New England 21. Okay, 7-point win. We go to 5-1. We go to the bye. Great win behind us, and beat probably one of the most prepared and detailed teams on the road in their building in Gillette Stadium, and got a bye week. After the bye, we got the Vikings. We'll get Lyle Collins back. Maybe getting Michael Gallup back. Getting Donovan Wilson back if he's not for this game. There's those little gnats and injuries, because I know that some of the injuries on the horizon is Tyron Smith has got a neck, but they say it's questionable to play. The one that's kind of got me on kind of nervous is a cat in a room full of long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. As they said that Trayvon Diggs. His ankle is a game time decision. Yeah, that's how I'm looking, just like that. Yeah. Trayvon Diggs don't play. I don't know, man. I don't know. So I'm hoping and praying that he plays. So those are the things. But yeah, those are the injuries. So after the bye, all these guys will be healed up. Tyron Smith will be, back, and Lyle Collins will be back on the line, and we can kind of move some guys around, because you may move Tyron Smith, not move Tyron Smith, move Steele maybe to some other position, and Conor McGregor maybe to the edge or to the one of the guard spots, move somebody else in the center. We can do some things with that week off, and all these injuries get healed up, and we'd be 5-1 and be looking pretty good for the finish line for the season. Hey, but this is going to be our toughest test. And I believe if we can go up to Foxborough and win this game, I think we could win 13 or maybe even 14 games. I really believe that. I believe if we go up to Foxborough and handle our business, do what we're supposed to do, play smart football, don't turn the football over. Do the things we're supposed to do. Don't get into no silly situations by, not where it looks like we weren't prepared for something. Like last year when we went up there, 2019 when we went up there, because Zeke was saying, man, it was raining. It's almost like hurricanes. And it was raining, cold, windy, and Bill Belichick had the mindset to understand that, man, under these conditions, offense is going to be hard to come by. We're going to be able to move the ball consistently. Let's concentrate on special teams. Let's put in some stuff, special teams. And lo and behold, first quarter, we got a punt block. They scored a touchdown on that. Okay. They had the foresight. That's preparation. Okay. That's preparation. That's the difference between the teams that win and the teams that don't. There's teams that win and teams that just got good players. Okay. And they don't make that decision to do that. Who knows? We might have won that game 9-6. Okay. But they had the foresight to understand the conditions, the weather conditions, and things of that nature might make it hard to score. Okay. And it's going to be a defense. If we can get a special team score, and Matthew Slater, that one of their special teams gems, he's a bad boy on special teams, got a punt block, and they got a touchdown off of that. And that was really the difference in the game. They won 13-9. Okay. We might have won that game. But we didn't have, Jason and his team did not have the foresight to work on special teams that day, to load up on the special teams. Like, thinking, because that's the difference in winning and losing. That margin is razor thin. So this game's going to tell us where we're at. Have we closed the gap to them in terms of that? Because we got the better team. But Cowboys 28, New England Patriots 21. And we're going to see how close your boy came to that. And look forward to me about, like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, coming on with the results. And if I come on there and I'm doing handstands, I'm like, yeah, Cowboys 5-1. But if I come on there and I'm giving you this face like this right here, yeah, I'm gonna tell you. But we ain't even claiming that. Cowboys 28, New England 21. And that's all I got. Your boy, Uncle Fred, signing off. Cowboys roll, baby.